Welcome to Babyface Hills. I'm your boy Pops Griffin. To my right, Menace Rat.
Not guilty.
To my left, Casual J.
What's going on?
Listen, man, this is where we talk about professional wrestling, primarily the WWE. Listen, This is heavy on my heart, but we do have to talk about this because this is real. Vince has some terrible allegations against him right now. I don't know if you've read the entire docket. I have read much of the docket, enough to know that this is bad and it's not going to end good. And some people are involved in it. And for starters, Heinous being involved in it.
Sheesh.
And Heinous is like immediately, I have nothing to do with this at all. I was a victim just as the victim was a victim.
And given new evidence.
Yeah, given the new evidence. And there's also some folks mentioned in there that are not mentioned, but they're mentioned, and we'll see where that goes as well. Let me just say before I pass it over and let y'all add y'all piece in there how y'all feel about this. Listen, we talk about all the time, you talk about 30 plus years of fanship here when it comes to the WWE, the product. So clearly the product, the creator of the product being that Vince McMahon, we love Vince, but you're wrong on this one, dog. I'm just going to say this is not good. It's really bad. And I know that he has children, he has grandchildren. So this is bad all the way around. I see the company try to pivot away from it. They got to figure it out. But Heinous did the ultimate pivot, though. Nobody pivoted the way he pivoted. Listen, y'all got me messed up. I'm the victim here, okay?
I wonder if he still will get off, though. Because he is mentioned in the original lawsuit. So even if he does snitch and everything, if he did the action stated in the lawsuit, then he's still guilty.
Yeah, but this is the lawsuit, right? So clearly, I'm thinking, she's gonna get paid, right? They're gonna either end it and do something quietly and try to get her not to speak anymore. But ultimately, I do think it's gonna end up being in front of a judge. It's gonna be a criminal charge against Vince at some point. That's coming. Probably Heinous, and the way he'll get off is by cooperating like he plans on doing with the lawsuit. So I just don't know. Things roll downhill. It's kind of like an avalanche, and we don't know where this is going to stop at. So this could be, for her, she was around the company for a few years, but I'm sure, if it happened to her, it may have happened to others. And if others start coming out, how far back does this type of treatment towards women or whatever, how far back does it go?
It's alleged that it's been happening to blind eyes for decades, at least. Not maybe to the severity of the Janelle Grant lawsuit, but it is severe nonetheless. Stuff is alleged to have happened in WWE headquarters, Vince's office, Vince's locker room, his house. All at a very interesting time, too. This is 2021, 2020, 2022, when all those wrestlers were laid off, when that investigation was launched on Vince within the company.
2019, too, right?
2019 as well. Pandemic time. It's all just very interesting stuff. Vince McMahon has nothing to do with WWE or TKO at all. He's officially gave away everything that he had in connection to the company. But there are more people week by week coming out. John Laurinaitis, like Pop says, defending himself. His lawyers defend him, but he's basically putting it all on Vince, saying that Vince ruled like a dictatorship, and John Laurinaitis had no choice but to participate in these acts if he wanted to keep his job.
Either you partake or you're fired.
Yeah, so it's not looking good. But we just gotta wait for more stuff to come out, see what happens. There's definitely more stuff coming out, though. Even as recent as the time they were filming this, we just found out Ashley Massaro She was a former diva when they were called that. She was a women's wrestler. She passed away, but something happened to her on a trip to an army campground in Kuwait, and John Laurinaitis has just admitted Africa.
Yep.
John Laurinaitis has just admitted today that WWE had knowledge of that incident and never did anything about it. And that was...
Look, John said the house is on fire. I'm not burning with it, okay?
Yeah.
This is crazy, bro.
Yeah, and that supposedly happened like around 2008, 2009. So, and we're in 2024 now. It's crazy, though. John Laurinaitis has been Vince's right-hand man
for years.
Close to right-hand man for a very long time. He's been behind the scenes of WWE for really long time.
He got 20 plus years in it for sure.
But this is also why I don't think John Laurinaitis will get off completely easy, because he was the head of talent relations for a long time.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that they're alleging that Vince had people do to keep their jobs, specifically the women wrestlers, they have to go through John Laurinaitis to keep their job. So he's definitely in on it.
Wow. So, talk to us, Jay. I mean, I know, we nickname you the casual fan because you're not in it as much as us, but you were in it. I know when you found this out, you took this and was kind of, I don't know what to say. I think it was a shock with the details, right? We're not surprised that Vince might be messing with a female wrestler or whatever that may be, but the details.
I think the details caught everybody.
Yeah, these details, they're like non-comebackable from. Like, even if he beats the Chargers or whatever the case is, Vince it'll never be the same for Vince, which is sad. But yeah, it's disgusting. It's bad. But there will definitely be more to come out too, and probably more people involved. So it's a big scandal all around. But I like how it's not affecting like the company. Like, they're still on track, still doing great. But it's crazy. It's crazy. Disturbing.
I think it's interesting that someone unnamed in the lawsuit but identified, if that makes sense, has kind of taken themselves out of the equation and trying to lay low. Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Jesus.
He wasn't named in a lawsuit, but he was pretty much identified, former UFC champion, they basically brokered off this girl to Brock Lesnar to get him to sign to come back in 2021. Once the news came out, if you guys remember, when Vince first left WWE, the first time Brock walked out with him, so he's a Vince guy. So when Vince left again this time, Brock Lesnar was basically asked not to come. And they took him off the cover of the new video game, the Legend Edition. It's bad.
Listen, man, and reading it and seeing that, and I was just like, nah, not Brock, man. Like, come on, bruh. Brock is like the all-American common man. You know, he makes a lot of money beating the hell out of people, and then he goes and lives on a farm, and he's got his wife and everything else, his cattle. He kind of just minds his business.
That's what we thought.
That's what we thought. And this dude's a party animal. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but
it's a Diddy party.
Right.
Or Kelly party.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. Listen, you don't want to get mixed in with those names. You don't do dumb stuff like this. That's the reality of it. It comes back and it'll bite you in the butt. Anything done in the dark is going to come to the light at some point. And as we, I said at the beginning of this, love Vince, love Brock, love WWE, period. You're absolutely right, though, Jay, when you say the company ability to keep pushing forward. I thought they did a great job of pivoting. We talked about it earlier in one of our segments when we talked about the Rumble and how Breaker was able to get in and stuff like that. So they have found a way to pivot. They have found a way to make changes and adjustments, which is great. The problem is this is the guy that built this. And so it's still going to be a cloud that hovers over them. They got to figure out how to continue to maneuver around it. And hopefully, right, that there's no other names that is going to come out from this lawsuit or, when it transitions into a criminal case, because I believe that it is going to happen, unfortunately.
I think there's other names that will come out, but on the bright side, as long as the name is not Triple H, I think all the other names are retired or dead. So it should be fine.
Yeah, long as it ain't our guy Triple H.
Yeah.
We gonna have some trouble.
I also want to put a PSA out there. I don't like that people are like, well, Triple H was around, he must have knew. Well, this one was around, he must have knew. If we're doing it like that, Daniel Bryan is John Laurinaitis' son-in-law. Did Daniel Bryan know?
Man.
No, you can't come at people like that. This is a complete separate situation, especially if they're not named in the lawsuit. John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar were in the lawsuit. You can't come at.
And they didn't even say
else.
Brock's name. They just
described.
They carved out enough of his character though for us to kind of put two and two together. But I'm with you on that though. Like it's not fair to say, oh well, Triple H knows and this guy knows and that guy knows. Man, listen, leave all that alone. You know that's not this. All right. But you know I wanted to ask you something, Red. A couple of years ago, right when Stephanie, you know, made her power move and wanted her dad to step out. Do you think that, I mean, we know it was some stuff similar to this, why she got ahead of it, but do you think she had an idea that it was really, really bad and she was like, listen, we get on top of this now, if it ever does come out, you know, he'll be away from the company?
I think she knew of him being pushy with the women, and I think she maybe knew of the women being offered off to broker deals with the wrestlers or different people in the company. I don't think she knew details like defecating on the women, that kind of thing. But I think she did try to jump in front of it like, Dad, get out of here while we can still save this thing. But Vince is such a stubborn guy.
Yeah. Vince is like, I built this. Why would I leave?
Yeah, even when he did leave, he was majority stock owner, so he's still there.
Brick by brick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to get that to sell it to TKO, but then to be sitting on the board, still have such a high percentage of stocks, he still had himself in a great position, and this is what it took to take it all away. And I think he's going to pay out a good amount, but like I said, after he pays out that amount in the lawsuit, I do believe criminal charges are coming right behind that. There's no way he's going to be able to get around it.
Yeah. Hopefully more people don't come out so he won't have to like die in jail, but it's going to be bad.
Yeah, and listen, like I said, you know, we love Vince. We hate that this is happening to him, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And Vince, you wrong on this one, dog. So, you know, whatever comes from it, unfortunately, you're gonna have to stand tall and handle it, bro. That's all it is to it. You have to stand tall and handle it. But the show goes on, right? As long as WWE is still putting out good product and it's still going forward, the Babyface Hills, we will still be here talking, cheering, excited, letting you know the good and the bad. That's what we do.
Sir.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes for president. They believe in kayfabe for the fields.
We don't lie, cheating.
If you go off the script, it has got to be real.
Babyface Hills.